You are live. What is going on, everybody? RogersBase here. Happy Monster Hunter weekend. Today, we are reading for the very first time One Piece manga chapter 1141. Welcome to the chat, everybody. As always, we're live on both YouTube and on Twitch. And yeah, literally, we ended up playing Monster Hunter for like 4 hours yesterday. And as many of you know, I was at the Lakers game this past Friday, the big One Piece collab night Lakers game. So I was going to show off some of the stuff that they actually got me from the game. That'll be super fun. We'll go over some of the stuff that I saw there, people that I met there. It'll be a lot of fun. But before we get to any of that, let's jump right into the reaction for One Piece 1141. This one is titled An Older Woman. Interesting name. And the cover story says Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 27. Good Lord. We're on Volume 27 of this thing and nothing has happened. Can't see through the tears of anger. So we've got Who's Who stabbing Pepe down on the ground, and you got Ulti crying, standing up. You got the roulette thing that like Who's Who hoisted her on, and then the knives that are all within it. So there you go. And also, I do think it's funny that Oda just wrote "kill, kill" instead of any other sound effect. He just wrote in English "kill, kill" as he's stabbing Pepe. Also, real quick, I did see the news that came out of the SBS like a couple days ago or something regarding their dad being Hanafuda, which for those of you guys who don't know, Hanafuda is the warlord that was taken down by Ace. So if you didn't know who that was, they were never really present in the main story. They were just present in like side canon material. But apparently it has been canonized that Hanafuda, who was taken down by Ace, was in fact the father of Pepe and Ulti. All right, with that being said, also we might go through, I see Leonard in the chat saying that SBS was really good. We might actually go through all of the stuff from that SBS. So, because there's like a lot of stuff to go over there. Hanafuda was the big one that I saw. I saw some other little like funny images and things like that, but I haven't seen all of it. So I do think it would be kind of like useful to go over maybe in the second half of the stream. So, okay, with that being said, now let's get into it. 1141. All right. Gigantic diamonds, gold ingots, pearls. Those are the only reasons I walked around that stupidly enormous castle. Ultra rare Nami, please don't bring that up. Well, what do I care about this Loki monster or whatever? Loki? Diamonds? Ignore her. It's nothing. They said, just forget about it. We're on more important stuff. What you two need right now is rest. Maybe just take it easy with all the hot button words, Ultra Rare Nami. Ugh, but I just want treasure. Ultra Rare Nami, please. All right, so they're leaving the castle right now. You can see Roto in the boat and Nami with him. All right, Adam Tree Tour. There's more to see than I ever even imagined. So as you can tell, we live in the branches of this enormous tree, each of which has its own long history. Also, is this the first time since Mural Piece that we're actually seeing Frankie again? Because I thought for a while, after that amazing mural chapter, I thought we were going to jump back to him pretty quickly and find out some more information about it. And I like how meanwhile they're like, nah, we're moving away from the mural. Anyway, here's the rest of the tree. It's fine. So, okay, here we go. So they're going on a tour of the Adam Tree, talking about the long history of each of the branches. So what's this one? Long ago, there was a village called Hagen on it. One day, light... I saw lightning. That's all I need. Give me a reason. One day, lightning struck the village and started a fire. But when a branch gets old, the fire just never goes out. So in order to ensure that it didn't spread to other branches, they had to cut it off. Village included. Okay. Am I coping? I don't think I am. I think I've made my case on multiple occasions over the course of hundreds of streams, and my whole breakdown of what I think is going to happen at the end of the series, and El Thor, and Eneru, and the Arc Maxim and the mural, he's coming back. There's something. There's some tie with the Rumble fruit, with the lightning. The fact that they like specifically bolded the name of the village that was on the branch, and then they talked about the fact that lightning struck the village. I think there's a connection there. I think there's a connection there. We're going to have to wait and see. In order to ensure that it didn't spread to other branches, they had to cut it off, village included. Boy, that had to be a real tough call to make. I guess even Adam can get old and decrepit. You might say that the vulnerabilities of Elbaf... Bro. We'll talk about it in the review. I got to get through the reaction. But there's... This line... You might say the vulnerabilities of Elbaf are fire and lightning is very, 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 very interesting when you think about the ties to things potentially related to Elbaf, aka Eneru, and also thinking about Harudin, who entered the Colosseum in Dressrosa for what, chat? For what did Harudin enter the Colosseum for? The Maramara no Mi, the flame fruit. Interesting. Okay. Oh, we're moving away from that too. Okay, Otis said we're giving you a little bit of a teaser. Don't even worry about it. All right. During the feast, Western Village. So we're back to the other giants and Usopp and the rest of the party. And Jarl. All right. During the feast, Western Village. Where have you been, Nami? So Usopp has been drinking. You can see the Stomp Trump music in the background. I don't see Lucy or Jojo either. He's completely drunk. Luffy and Zoro either. You don't see Luffy and Zoro either. They're probably exploring. I like that she can still understand him even though he's super drunk. Okay. Nice. Jarl, this is our genius navigator. Oh, and what a beauty she is. Hey, watch it, you old perv. Say, what's your ideal woman anyway, huh? Bullshit. My favorite type is an older woman. Crazy that this is the title of the chapter. Unless they're introducing some older woman character of the stuff I've already read that they just went with the title an older woman. It has to be important. But all right, Usopp smacking him on the head. That doesn't exist. You're the oldest person in the whole damn world. And meanwhile, they're screaming. He's slapping the little sword that's still stuck in his head. Chief Jarl. Yo, don't touch Chief Jarl's sword, Usopp. Yo, shut up, Dory. Is there no hero who'll be drawing Excalibur from the sheath? Shut up. What are they talking about? You better not hit the sword. He's going to die of blood loss. Whoo, boy, he really is wasted. And Brooks there playing the guitar. And also that's kind of a cool shot, actually. You could see Brooks standing there headless with his little helmet and then his skeleton skull underneath it. What's that even being held up by? Is that his leg or something? Or is that like his soul emanating from the bottom of his body? It's a cool little shot. We normally don't see just Brooke hanging out playing music. And so, I mean, he's not nearly as wasted. Nami said, so are you to Brooke, but he's not nearly as wasted as Usopp is. Usopp smacking people's swords and tripping over his words and yelling at Harudin, calling him Dory. All right. Anyway, I can't blame him for getting carried away. It's been his lifelong dream to come to this place. So everyone's just happy that Usopp is having a good time. It's great. Whoa! He does seem to be having the time of his life. And Jinbei, still chilling, just drinking his grog, sitting down, having a good time. Sanji's looking around. Wait a second. Where did Gerd get off to? Okay, you're looking for Gerd, Sanji? Compression fractures in the limbs. And this one seems to have been injured by something sharp. Could this have been caused by some small but powerful human weapon? What happened? Please explain it to me. And you could see the guards over there that are now being taken care of, the ones that Gunko was taking out over at the castle. These are the castle guards. It's not a good sign. I swear, I was only going there for inspiration in fashioning the details of my block castle when I noticed the shattered gates and the guards on the floor inside. Well, you look awfully sweaty. Is it hot out today? I wish you'd stare at me forever, bro. Roto being a creep again. Let's wake the guards up so I can hear what they have to say. No. Give them plenty of rest. Then I'll just have to report to Chief Jarl. But why ruin such a joyful feast? It wouldn't be right to bring unconfirmed fears to the village's attention. I mean, everyone's already in such a festive mood. So Rhodo's trying to figure out how not to get this information out there about the scrap with Skapergaban and wanting to free Loki and the key. He's doing his best to distract from the situation. All right, we must wait until the ultra-rare Straw Hats return. If they find out about this business with Loki, I'm going to be treated like an accomplice. And I've always wished we could release Loki and have him leave the island forever. Just let him rampage somewhere else for all I care. But there's just one thing that troubles me. I don't think it's right to ignore the report of an intruder who looks like Red Hair. And meanwhile, you could see Gerd in a great shot behind Rhodo, readying up the axe to bonk him on the head. Yo, out with it already. Tell me what it is you're hiding. And meanwhile, again, Rhodo, being the sick weirdo he is just laying there on the ground with the gash in his head yelling, punish me, Gerd. Little freak. All right, next page. The underworld, here we go. Yo, Luffy, this doesn't match what you were saying. I know, something changed. Even the animals got messed up. Are you guys okay? So obviously Luffy and Zoro are going to come upon the Loki who's been devastated by the Cerberus attacks and all the animals are dead. He's bleeding, chained up against the tree. Loki, what happened? Who did this to you? This giant is huge. Even Zoro's impressed by this, and you can see Luffy saying, please, talk to me, Loki. He's still breathing, though. You can see the little breath coming out of his nose. Don't use the key yet. Something's wrong here, Luffy. But look how hurt he is. He's not going to be able to cause any damage. Come on, Zoro, help me. Help? Was that Loki saying that? He's just saying, help. Oh, no, that's Luffy. That's Luffy. He's wobbling with this giant key saying, help me. So the cuffs are made of sea prism stone, which is why he's sort of losing his powers as he's going to put the key in. What's with the huge animals over here? Chill out, Luffy. Not yet. A giant is dying, man. Come on, we have to save him. That's not my problem, though. I've never talked to this guy, and I've only heard bad things about him. All I know is that an ore-sized supergiant is going to start raising hell, and it's going to be a major problem, even for Elbaf. Zoro's at least thinking and being smart in this situation. Luffy's just, oh, come on, we got to free him. I want to know more about Shanks. But Zoro said, no, this is going to be a bad situation. Give me a second. What are you doing, Zoro? We just kicked him in the face? What is this? Hurting him even more? You see the little shunk sound effect? And meanwhile, Loki's waking up with a giant... Whoa! Ah! All right, so his injuries and bodies are real. He doesn't seem to be acting. Bro, what? And Loki's like, just bleeding. What did you think? Huh? He died. No way. No way. Well, if he's dead, then he wasn't meant to survive. Come on, Zoro, that's messed up. Just poor Loki getting hit time and time again, just slumped over now. All right, we're going to unlock the cuffs, but keep one of his legs still locked up with the sea prism stone. If he wakes up again, we could talk to him. All right, maybe I'll go call for Chopper. Nah, it's too far to the library. Though I'm pretty sure there was a doctor at the feast in the village. That's right, Gerd, who's taking care of the, the guards of the castle right now. All right. If that's how they find out we freed Loki, we're going to get kicked out of the country. Well, if it happens, it happens. I'll go find the doctor. They're like, look, Usopp's already had a great time. He's been chilling. He's been getting drunk with the giants. He's already had his visit to Elbaf. We're good. Let's get out of here. We're going to need meat, too. Honestly, you can't get better without food. Well, if you want meat, there's plenty of meat over there. And you see all the dead... Zoro is on something in this chapter. What the heck? You got all the dead animals over there and all the... Zoro's like, hey, there's some meat. We'll feed him that. And Luffy's freaking out saying, don't you say that ever again. They're my friends. I'll hunt some different ones in the mountains. And Zoro, meanwhile, is like, look, meat is meat. No, those are friends. You don't eat friends. All right, fine. Jeez. But the doctor comes first, so you just wait here. Okay, sure. Meanwhile, Luffy's looking up. You get something descending from the sky. We're doomed. The island clouds will disappear down in the underworld. All we need is a little bit of buoyancy before they vanish. Well, don't worry, Gerd. I'll save you. Oh, and that Sanji up there. Oh, this is how they're going to get Sanji down with the rest of the monster trio. So you got Sanji with Harudin and the other new giant pirates, Roto and Gerd there as well. We don't have time to use the lift. Come on, it's an emergency. If Loki gets free, it's going to be hell unleashed. It's not working, though. We're going to crash and die, and you can see them shoo, descending down to the bottom. I'm sorry, everyone. I made a mistake. We can't blame you. You were thinking about the fate of Elbaf. Goodbye, cruel world, as they're crashing down to the ground. I'm sure they're going to be okay. Meanwhile, Luffy, gum balloon, blowing up, catching the giant boat as it's descending down from the sky. Good use of his powers. Also cool to see him using these old classic attacks again, using gum balloon. And meanwhile, Harudin's like, yes, Straw Hat, he saved us. Another reason to be part of his grand fleet. Another reason to be in love with Luffy. And Luffy's just laughing, having a good time. Boing, bouncing the ship all the way back up. Because again, he's made of rubber. It's a bouncy castle. If you land with that much ferocity, you're going to bounce back up anyway. And then, whoops, boing, they go flying back up. Well, thanks anyway. We only got severely injured instead of dying immediately. And there you go. So the other bodies fall out of it and the boat goes flying. All right, well, there you are. We were in such a panic. I'm glad we made it in time. Now, excuse me, whatever you do, Straw Hat, don't free Loki. We made Roto spill the beans. I'm sorry, Ultra Rare Luffy. You can't trust Loki. He's a cunning, cruel, vicious, backstabbing, and conniving villain. We've known Loki ever since we were children. And if he told you anything that made him sound sympathetic, he's lying. He's the kind of beast who will kill a so-called friend at a moment's notice. He's the enemy of the world. And meanwhile, Zoro's like, well, it's too late. So he turned the key already. He was ready to go. And Harudin's like, huh? As he's looking backwards. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Loki's up. And you see Luffy looking down. Loki completely standing, freed from his chains, still bloodied up and, brutalized. But here he is. Cool, very cool shot there as well. Great use of scale to see just how big Loki is. And you got all the other giants going, Loki! Wait, what? I thought he was passed out. Don't do it. Don't do it. And he's going to grab his sword. Loki, take your hand off of Ragnir. One Piece 1141 end. Ragnir. Okay. To be continued. And we're not on break. And we're not on break. La 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 la. Very good. Okay. Review time. I think this one's going to be relatively short and sweet. This was fine. This was a totally fine chapter, moving things forward. Not tons of information. There really are three things that stand out with me. One, the fact that Loki is now freed. He's got Ragnir. He's about to wreck house. If I had to guess, since we are only 1 week away from the chapter, if I had to guess. Thank you, by the way, Naman, for gifting 10 memberships. Greatly appreciate that. Nakama. Thank you very, very much for that, Naman. Really appreciate that. What I will say is and Colin Cat as well. What the heck? Everybody coming through with gifted memberships right now. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just feel like in general, Loki, the way he's being set up and the way they keep talking about these, he's not to be trusted. He's a so-called beast, right? And then like all the stuff that we got in the previous chapter about Loki taking out the guards at the castle and him and Jarl being the only ones that actually saw what happened. And the chapter being titled An Older Woman, which obviously is going to have to be important at some point if he named the chapter after that one line. When Usopp was asking Jarl about his preferences, I feel like that has to be a thing that's going to come up in the future. So my question is really just going to be like, what that is. Is that going to have to do something with like the world government and with Emu maybe? Like Emu, I assume Emu is a man, but Emu could be any number of things, right? We also think that Emu, there's like a bunch of different theories and things that are going around with Emu, that maybe Emu was like in love with Lily. And then Lily betrayed Emu. That was a whole big theory that was out there for a while. But yeah, we don't know Emu's gender yet. We don't know what's up with Emu. Emu could just be a being, right? And maybe Imu took the form of a woman that Jarl fell in love with all those years ago. But again, there's obviously something important to that. And the easy assumption is sure, Imu is like a character that's been alive for a long time, tied to the world government, could potentially make that connection with the God Knights and with the Holy Knights and the stuff at the castle. But to me personally, the one line, an older woman, with no other context to that, kind of isn't enough for me to be like, ooh, there's some good theories coming out here. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of need more information. I feel like that's kind of not enough. I feel like that's Oda just teasing out a little bit of something and not really giving us much. The thing that I found much more fascinating, which I brought up earlier in the chapter reaction, is that line from, let me go back to it, that line from Ripley about the weakness of Elbaf being fire and lightning. Because again, I've talked about this a number of times, but one of the big things, right, is that I feel like there is going to be, at some point, an appearance by Eneru throughout the course of Elbaf. I've talked about this at great length in multiple theory videos, in multiple live streams, but essentially, since we saw the Arc Maxim in the mural, since the only supernova that is yet to show up in any of the main storylines, who I think needs to show up at Elbaf at some point, is probably going to be Uruj. Since the whole theming of this whole arc has been about religion and people being misunderstood, I feel like Uruj makes a lot of sense, and the character who's been calling himself God makes a lot of sense to actually show up in the story, especially if fire and lightning are their vulnerabilities of Elbaf. The other thing that I think is important is, going back to what I said during that reaction, right? The whole thing that Haruden was trying to get for Elbaf, knowing he's opposed to Loki, right, throughout the course of Dressrosa, was the Mera Mera no Mi, which can give you fire powers, right? So for me, when I think of that, and I think of the firepower connection, and I think about Haruden wanting that, there's a couple things that get thrown in. One, I feel like because we already know that Loki has some type of devil fruit related to a sun god, that somehow, some way, Haruden may believe that this fire fruit could have him like match Loki, or have him actually like put up a fight against him, knowing that it's a weakness of Elbaf itself. So that's one thing. The second thing, considering the God Knights are literally here, and we're waiting for the revolutionaries to mobilize, and the revolutionaries are going to mobilize when the God Knights mobilize, who is the character who's second in command of the revolutionaries, who has a fire fruit that Haruden was going after in Dressrosa? Sabo. To me, this sort of leads me to believe that at some point, considering the God Knights are here, and Elbaf, I believe, is like the last arc before Final War, could potentially lead into Final War, I think we might see Sabo showing up at some point. I think this might be a really good opportunity to have Sabo reappear in the story, have the revolutionaries show up, maybe, you know, the Straw Hats and some of the other characters are in a pickle. Sabo shows up, saves the day, stops one of the God Knights. I think that could be super interesting, especially if you get the layering of the stuff with Sabo and the Mera Mera no Mi and the revolutionaries and setting off the Final War, paired with stuff with Eneru and the backstory of Eneru and the El Thor and where the Rumble fruit came from and whether or not that actually originates from here in Elbaf, or maybe it was like, you know, people have brought up the idea of like Thor within the world of One Piece. If there was actually a Thor in Elbaf who maybe had the lightning fruit. Like, there's a lot of cool different things. But I think the bolded out thing where they said Hagen was the name of the village that got taken down by the lightning that caused a fire has to be important moving into the story. It has to be. That and the older woman line. Both of those, I feel like whenever Oda bolds something, he's like, hey, pay attention. This is going to be important moving forward. So those are the two big things. So the thing about the older woman, yeah, maybe it's Imu. Who knows? I don't know. It could be. It could be. That's kind of the only thing that makes sense right now based on everything that we know. But then we also know that the giants who exist in the world of Elbaf, right, are significant. They look younger than they actually are, right? Like Ripley is what, 82 or 85 or something, and married to Scopper Gaban and older than Gaban. So again, it could also be something that's like playing with age, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, I feel like beyond that, most of this was just getting to Loki. Like, there's a lot of text in this chapter. There's a lot of good gags that happen. There's the thing with, like, the gum balloon with Luffy, where he's, you know, propelling the boat back up in the sky after it lands, and the new giant pirates fell out. I think that's kind of a cute moment. I think it was cute to see Usopp kind of drunk with the other giants and messing around, and Jinbei being like, come on, he's waiting for this moment. Nami being the same way, like, let's just chill and have a good time. I think that was kind of cute. The little bit, about Luffy saying, oh, at some point, thank you, by the way, Naman. What the heck? Gifting 20 more subscribers. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Naman. Wow. Nakama. Holy mackerel. Coming through with gifted memberships on top of gifted memberships today. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Naman. Nakama. Everyone say thank you to Naman if you're getting a membership today. Appreciate that. I feel like the only other thing really in this chapter for me that is interesting, once again, goes back to that fire and lightning line. Because thinking about it, right, Big Mom obviously still has a story to tell here in Elbaf. There's still something related to her story regarding, eating the kids, eating Mother Carmel, whether or not those kids were actually eaten, taking out the other village chief. Big Mom has two major homies back in Whole Cake Island, right? She's got Prometheus, who's fire, who's a sun, and she's got Zeus, who's now with Nami, who produces lightning. We know all the ties with Mother Carmel. We know Mother Carmel's versions of Prometheus and Zeus. We saw them back in the day. So I feel like that also is going to be relatively important moving forward into the story, right? She made the new version of lightning. She's got Hera now that Zeus is over with Nami. So I feel like we are going to see at some point within Elbaf something related to her homies while she was present in Elbaf, considering once again that fire and lightning line. I think a lot of people are going to latch onto that older woman line because it's the title of the chapter. But I do feel like it's too close to be a coincidence. There has to be something related to that, knowing that there's something related to Big Mom that we still need to find out in Elbaf. You know what I mean? Some people are saying they think it might be a random little coincidence, but I really don't think it is. I don't think it is. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. There's not really this wasn't a super exciting one. I mean, it was fine. It got us to where we needed to go. I think it was an interesting chapter. I think the cool thing is now that Loki is freed, right? I'm just happy to see Loki out of the chains and seeing what he's going to do. Because I think the fact that Loki has already been freed means that we're closer to actual story development and actually finding out the truth about what happened that day. Which I thought maybe that could be spread out over the course of the rest of the story arc. But again, tying into all the stuff I've been saying about Elbaf, I feel like this arc has been very, very well paced. I feel like they have been flying through, giving us information, flying us through, getting to, more of the action, getting to the characters actually doing something. And now we're here. And the new giant pirates are going to have to confront him. Obviously, they're on opposite sides. We might end up seeing a fight between the two of them next chapter. I think that could be really cool. I would love to see that. Also, Leonardo in the chat is saying that Ragnir means Iron Thunder and Hagen means Small Hill. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Yeah. Also, I'm seeing Taliesin saying he still has one chain on his ankle. My guess is he's probably going to break that chain next chapter by picking up Ragnir. That he's going to be you left one, slam it down, and it'll show just how powerful he is or something. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, totally fine. Serviceable chapter moving us through Elbaf. We had more of the gags with Rodo. I feel like there is some filler in this one. I feel like we didn't necessarily need to see all this stuff with Gerd and Rodo in real time debating whether or not he's going to tell her the information. But it is what it is. It's fine. And then again, we're finally moving something forward in the Yamato story, right? We're at volume 27 of the Golden Pilgrimage. And I feel like, again, not a lot has really happened in that story either. I feel like we're now here. We're actually getting into something. We're getting into who's who. I'm going to say what I said 2-3 chapters ago, where we still aren't at that point. I feel like Yamato is going to help Ulti and Pepe, and then Ulti and Pepe will join Yamato moving forward. They're fan favorite characters. They, they're just teenagers. So I feel like they could still have redemption. They're not far gone like a character like Who's Who or, some of the other Toby Ropo members that have been doing bad stuff for Kaido all these years. So that's neat too. Yeah. But otherwise, totally fine. Not really even anything to theorize about this chapter. I am theorizing what we're going to see though from James in the thumbnail art. So let me open this up and see what James did this week. Let me see. James thumbnail art. What do you got for me, James? What do you got? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. SpaghettiOs. James, where are you, buddy? Uh-oh. Look at this. Hasn't been updated. He didn't do 1141. It's just 1140. I'm sure he probably did it, but he just might not have posted it yet. Hold on, I'll text him and be like, hey, could you add this? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Here, let me text him. James, where's the thumbnail?
Why not keep me company for a while?
Here we go. Let's see.
Plenty of time for work.
Text him. Well, in the meantime, since we're waiting to see what his thumbnail is going to be, I'll open up this one in the meantime for 1140. We'll just keep it there while James wakes up. And I'll talk to the rest of you guys. So let's read some super chats out while we're waiting. Let's see. Oh, Roberto actually just donated and said, Roger, keep in mind, Ulti is actually in her 40s. She's not a teenager. Wait, what? I thought she was like 18. She's in her 40s. No, she's not. Wait, Ulti. Wait. Ulti, One Piece. She's not in her 40s. Yeah, Ulti's 22. I literally just looked this up. Thank you, by the way, to Abhi coming through with a membership. Greatly appreciate that. Nakama. Thank you. She's in her 40s. She's 22. Yeah, it says right on here, she's 22. So she's not in her 40s. Naruto Toad Sage super chatted and said, what do you think about Buggy's Devil Fruit Awakening? Especially since Paramecia awakenings tend to alter the world and the people around him. What do I think about Buggy's Devil Fruit Awakening? That maybe he'd just be able to like split the ground that you're standing on, right? I don't really know how it would work, considering the whole thing is that his feet have to be on the ground for the power to work. So maybe it's like whatever he's standing on, he could split the ground into multiple pieces and make it all hover and go a bunch of different places and move it around. So like instead of, say you're running towards Buggy, if he awakens his Devil Fruit and he splits the ground in front of you, he could just create all these different platforms so you can never actually get to him. I think that'd be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, it's a good question though. Let me pull up some of these other super chats. Tech Zero super chatted and said, we're waiting and setting up for something nice and for something big to happen. Yeah, again, that's kind of what this chapter was. This chapter was mostly just set up for other stuff to happen. Roberto also donated and said, that's weird because I know I read somewhere that she was like 40 or something. I guess I'm wrong. Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, she's most definitely 22. It's right here on the One Piece wiki. There you go. If you open this up right here, and it's sourced right down here, SBS volume 97, Ulti's age, right here. And we'll actually go through some of the other SBS stuff a little bit later because there is a lot of other stuff. But you can see volume 97. And where is this? Ulti. Here we go. Ulti, and it's all the ages of the Tobi Roppo. So who's 38? Black Maria's 29. Sasaki's 34. Ulti's 22, Page 1 is 20, and Drake is 33. There you go. I Ate Your Potato donated and said, I think all the Figarland swords maybe contain mythical beasts. Shamrock has Cerberus, Shanks has a griffin since he gets to places faster than his crew, and think about the anime kid fight, and maybe Garling has Fenrir. I mean, that would be kind of interesting. I would also really like the idea that Shanks' sword has a devil fruit, but part of me still believes it would kind of go against everything that we've seen from Shanks in the past with them not using devil fruits. I almost want Shanks to be as powerful as his brother with a devil fruit sword, but just utilizing Haki alone. I do like the idea that maybe, yeah, Garling has Fenrir within his sword. I think that could be kind of neat. We also have Asaf donating saying Loki versus Kaido honestly doesn't seem all that far-fetched. No, I mean, Loki seems beastly. You know, he's tanked all these attacks from all the other God Knights, right? He was chained up by all the other giants. You know, Shanks managed to stop him as well. Obviously, the dude is super strong. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see more of Loki. But again, we didn't really see anything about that this chapter. Let me also pull this up real quick while we're here on the wiki. I do want to pull up the other SBS. Is it SBS 111? Is this or 110? Oh, no, I think 110. Wait a minute. No, this was one from a previous thing that we read. Yeah, this is like where they showed older Jinbei. And then the young version of Aramaki and Isho. Yeah, okay, so I guess maybe the new SBS isn't officially out yet. So we'll wait for the new SBS to be officially out then, and then we'll talk about it. I saw the Hanafuda thing. I assumed the volume already came out in Japan. I guess not. So we won't go over the new SBS just yet. Let's see. In the meantime, let me see some of these other... pull this up. Let's see. See some of these other super chats. See other things that you guys had to say. Let's see. Lonely Mage donated and said, it seems like the warning that Louis Arnaud made about Elbath is coming true. The Straw Hats we've seen a lot recently, and they seem uncharacteristically aggressive, especially regarding stuff tied to their dreams. Oh, you think it has something to do that, like, the longer you stay in Elbath, the angrier you get? That would be kind of interesting. I like that idea that maybe, yeah, the longer you stay here, the more you sort of become accustomed to the ways of Elbath, the ways of war. That's cool. Roberto also donated again and said, well, now I'm less interested in Ulti because I too love older women. Tying back to the title of this chapter, Roberto. David Ortiz super chatted as well and said, what if Who's Who is the one who killed Ulti and Page One's father? He's not. We know officially from the SBS that I guess is not officially out yet, but is all over on Twitter, that Hanafuda was stopped by Ace. So I don't actually think it was Who's Who's crew. It was Ace. In fact, they've already straight up said that Ace defeated Hanafuda. That was part of one of the earlier stories. So I don't believe it was Who's Who's crew. You said Who's Who did become a pirate, and it was Kaido who kept them all under control. Yeah, David, you might have missed the earlier bit of the discussion during today's chapter. But yeah, it's actually pretty much confirmed. Well, it's not confirmed that Ace killed Hanafuda, but it is confirmed that Ace beat Hanafuda. Ace might not have killed him. So maybe it was Who's Who's crew who killed them, and it would give Ulti and Page One another reason to hate him. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. All right, I'm not going to write off what you said. Maybe. Mike Moore also donated and said, Nakama! My team has a match today that I have to coach, but I'm looking forward to watching your reaction afterwards. Enjoy. Thank you very much, Mike Moore. And again, thank you to Naman, who gifted not only 30 memberships during the stream, but to Colin Cat, who gifted 5 memberships, and Abhi, who joined as well. Thank you very, very much to all the people who came through with gifted memberships today. Greatly appreciate it. Nakama. Well, before we wrap up, and before James hopefully gets back to me with this thumbnail, because I don't know what's going on here. I'll text him again too, make sure he's waking up. Hold on. Let's see this. Let's see. I'll text him and be like, James, where's the thumbnail? There we go. Let's see. Let me open this up. And actually, you know what? Before I get into the stuff with the Lakers, let's read some of the Discord comments. Let's go see, because we probably have a lot of them. Well, maybe not. We'll see. There's not much that happened this chapter, but we can read them anyway. All right, let me go look in the Manga Sunday room. Oh, actually, there are quite a few comments. Wait a minute. This one comes from Clax, who said, not related to this chapter in particular. At the time of typing this, I haven't even read today's chapter. But I noticed something while rereading Dressrosa that I don't think was brought up when we read 1138. Okay. Also, let me close the wiki one and we'll just open this old one up. In chapter 726 on page 15, we get a look at the Tontada's time of slavery where they toiled away digging something underground. It says their time of slavery ended 800 years ago at the end of the Void Century. I'm wondering if their digging has anything to do with the mural that we saw in chapter 1138. Especially given the theme of factories and the mural depicting what appears to be people working underground near a factory. It seems like there's a theme going on, and it's hard for me to write off as pure coincidence. I actually really like that you brought that up. That's kind of cool. I'm glad you bring that up. Yeah, we obviously, for those of you who don't remember what Clax is talking about, in that chapter with the mural, there was like the bottom right portion where you see the people grabbing something from underground and then the other conveyor belt that's moving up, like gifting things over to Imu. I do love that idea that, yeah, maybe the Tontadas were the ones who were doing all that digging and working for the world government and enslaved by the world government. It's a good thing to bring up. I never even really thought about that potential connection. That's cool. Aaron Ferguson sent a message and said, one thing that I've seen on social media a lot that's been pointed out is that the panel of Loki standing up dwarfing Luffy looks a lot like this image from Dark Souls 3. To be fair, Oda does love his video games, so it would not surprise me if he threw in a Dark Souls reference. It does kind of look like that a little bit. Loki the only difference is that he doesn't have the sword in front of him, right? Ragnir is behind him. And you've got little Luffy standing on the bottom. I mean, it does straight up look like something out of Dark Souls. That's very true. It does look very, very similar. That's funny.
Why not keep me
Also,
company
Scuba7 donated and said, after reading the official, I believe that Loki might have the Hell fruit. Haruden specifically said if Loki gets free, it'll be Hell Unleashed. Maybe it'd be a paramecia. I love the idea of a Hell fruit, because then a Hell fruit, right, would also utilize fire, could seemingly be seen as like a variation of a sun god fruit. That would be understandable as to why Loki said that. I like that idea, actually. And that would also be kind of cool to have like a Hell fruit go up against like an actual devil fruit at some point in Final War. That's kind of neat. I don't hate that. It's actually kind of cool. Let me open this up as well. Let me go back over here, read some more of these Discord questions real quick. Let's see. We got one from King Waffle, who said, "Ahoy, Roger. I'm writing this as you're reading the chapter, so hopefully I don't sound too redundant to your review or the super chats. But I personally believe that Loki is going to make a beeline for Shamrock. There is a scenario, however, in which I see Loki making a regard to the effect of killing that red-headed bastard, and it ends up setting off Luffy. Another point in Norse mythology is that Jormungandr is the child of Loki. Do you see any space in the story for the World Serpent to appear? Thor and the Serpent are supposed to fight in Ragnarok, which has been brought up in the story and alluded to in the One Piece canon as the Final War. Loki has been around long enough to have children, so maybe he had a child with someone after he got rejected by Lola." I literally completely forgot about the Lola thing. We've been talking about it in the lead up to Elbaf, and then we actually saw Loki and theorized about all the other stuff he did. I completely forgot about the thing with Lola and the, what's it called, the marriage. Totally forgot about that. Do I think there's space in the story for the World Serpent to appear? I mean, yes. In all honesty, yes. Uh-oh, hold on. James just said, I uploaded it, but I didn't put it in the folder. 1 second. It's there. So we're going to pull up his thumbnail in just a second. Don't worry about it, James. Do I think there's going to be a place in the story? Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen giant snakes in One Piece before, right? We saw this in Skypiea. I feel like there's probably room for another giant snake in Elbaf. I also think there's room for somebody to have a giant snake devil fruit, and that potentially being tied to the stuff that we saw in the mural, right? We saw like the earth god and the sea god and the sun god. We saw all the different gods in the mural of Elbaf. Who's to say that maybe the fruit of the snake creature is actually going to be given maybe to Loki's kin later on in the story, or that devil fruit is already existing in the world currently and that character's going to show up at some point in Elbaf? Yeah, I definitely think there's room in the story for it. Yeah. Yeah, Miguel even brought up in the chat, we may have already seen the World Serpent and not have known it yet. There you go. Yeah, very well could be. Rob also mentioned, Oda definitely made a point to point out that the tree is weak to fire and lightning, just like you said. I know you're thinking Eneru, Big Mom, and Sabo, the current owner of the Flame Fruit and all, but I'm wondering if maybe it's alluding to Loki's Devil Fruit as well, and maybe even related to Ragnarok. I mean, absolutely, right? We're bringing up the theory idea of like a Hell fruit. We've been saying for weeks the idea that maybe he's got like an alternate sun god fruit that would obviously have ties to fire. For sure, it would also explain why so many people in Elbaf are afraid of him. If he's got some kind of fire fruit and fire is the weakness of Elbaf, of course, naturally, people would be afraid of him, especially if he's not going along with it, whatever the rest of the people of Elbaf believe. Totally. Yeah, I totally buy that. We also got Aaron adding to the Nakama message he said earlier saying, based on Eneru having Priest in his lineup, we could also get a reveal that Urouge maybe decided to team up with Eneru prior to possibly arriving at Elbaf. I'm going to have to disagree with that only because we know that Burka, which was the island that was destroyed 6 years ago by Eneru, is the home of Urouge. So if anything, I think the thing that's going to bring Urouge and Eneru to the same location is going to be his quest for revenge, or him, taking his vengeance out and avenging that of Burka, and maybe working with the Straw Hats to take him down again. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be teaming up with each other. That would be wild if Urouge teams up with the person who exterminated his home. That would be crazy. But we'll see. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? All right, I think that is now everything for the super chats and the Nakama messages. So really, 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 really quickly, I want to see what James did for the thumbnail. Let me open this up. Oh, here you go. It is in here. Hold on. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Whoa. Whoa. What's going on here? Loki's got like a giant... Oh, that's his horn. Oh, that's his horn. Oh, he's got the bandages on the horn. Oh, that's kind of cool. He's like all shadowed out and stuff with then the pink. You can see him looking down in the sky, all the different chains there as well. Does look very Persona-esque. You know what this one actually reminds me of, James? This reminds me a lot of the one you did for Gunko. If I look this up in the old thumbnails, this Gunko one that you did, where you had like the bright red background that looked very Persona-esque, I feel like this one is very much in the style of the one for Gunko. It's cool looking. I like it. Man, you've really been playing with a lot of different artistic styles here. You did the watercolor for Shamrock. You did the lighting ones for Gabon and for Frankie. You did the Persona one for Gunko. And then now you got another one that's a Persona one for Loki. I think it looks really cool. I also like the idea that like you still see him chained up. It doesn't fully spoil that he's been set free. I dig it. That's very cool. You see Winston in the chat saying, I'm telling you, James does not miss with the thumbnails. And James said, you know what? Maybe so. I am messing with different art styles as well. DW just, by the way, just come through with the super chat and said, love the logic of Haruden shouting scared to Loki to put his weapon down. But why did they leave Ragnar with him in the first place? Well, I think this could maybe go back to the idea that like Loki was hiding Ragnar behind him as he was sort of sitting down at the tree. Right? We all brought up the idea that maybe there was like a poneglyph that he was sitting in front of, or like some other type of secret of Elbaf that he was sitting in front of. It just turns out that he was sitting in front of his sword. So now he's ready to go and start fighting. Yeah, I like the shading on Loki for this thumbnail, though. This is very cool. I like all the different damage that's on the chains, but I do like the color that you utilized. Also, special shout out to James, by the way, for nailing what Loki was going to look like long before Oda did the official colorization. I think he was off by just like a little shade. He made it a little more purple than it was pink. But on the whole, James knew right away, look, Oda's going to do something weird with the colors of this character's hair. I'm going to make a bold choice. He made a bold choice. And there it is. Also, James said, you know what I just noticed? His bandages are on his left horn, but on the volume cover, they're on his right horn. Oh. Did Oda mess up on the volume cover? That's kind of interesting. Or maybe, oh no, the volume cover's mirrored though, right? The volume cover is mirrored. It's like this is him, perspective of Luffy. The other one is like him standing out on everybody. So I actually don't think it was an Oda mistake. I think it was just a perspective thing that they ended up flipping the two. But yeah, you are right that the bandages are on the other horn. Also, if you look back to chapter 470, you'll see that Or's reaction looks close to Loki. Let me go see. One Piece Shonen Jump. Let's see this. Doop, doop, doop. Shonen Jump. What chapter was this? 470. And you guys said it looks similar to Loki. Also, I love that little featured chat thing where you pulled up James's message on the screen, and then look at this. I can pull this back up. I got to utilize that featured chat thing more. That's so cool, because when I'm reading out your super chats and I'm reading these things out, I always forget. There's so many things going on with my new setup that I forget that I even have this feature, but I love that feature, man. That's great. All right, let me look this up. 470. Here we go. Open this up. 470. I got to scroll through a lot of these chapters to find this. Here we go. And the silhouette. Oh, I guess it was kind of similar. It was kind of similar. I'll flash this on the screen real quick so you guys can see it, but it was actually kind of similar. Him standing in front of Sanji like that, stands up and little Sanji looking up at him. That is kind of cool. I mean, to be fair, there's probably only so many ways that Oda can draw a giant character standing, looking down, intimidating at another character. But I do wonder if maybe there is meant to be a little bit of a parallel and a correlation there between what we saw with Loki and what we saw with Oars, and the horns, and the different races of the different giants, and, Harold breaking off his horns. You might be cooking. There might be a connection there. Let me see. Is there anything else in this chapter to discuss before I get into talking about that Lakers game? I don't think there really is anything else. I haven't seen any other super chats. I haven't seen any other Nakama messages. So I feel like we're good. So with that being said, let me show you guys something real quick. So as many of you know, I was at the One Piece Lakers game this past Friday where they had the big Luffy animation of him going full Space Jam, dunking on the other Clippers players that were all dressed up in the little marine outfits. It was a super cool animation. The night was amazing. I went with Shofu. I got to see a bunch of my other buddies there. I saw Awesome Adam was there. Mika Burton was there. Straw Hat Goofy was there. Herm was there. I also saw a bunch of other streamers were there. Ludwig was there. Pokimane was there. There were a lot of cool people. And honestly, the whole event was amazing. The basketball game was amazing. It was actually really close. It was just overall a really great time. I saw a lot of you stopping me, saying hello. I filmed a video that's going to be going up probably next week where it's like a new version of the Guess That One Piece Laugh, or like, what's your favorite One Piece laugh, where I was asking people. But when we attended, we got something cool, and that's what I want to show you at the end of all of this. Hold on. Let me show you. So one of the things that we got at this Lakers game, as you can see, is this One Piece Los Angeles Lakers shirt, and look at what it says over in the tag, right there. Ichiro Oda, Shueisha, Toei Animation, not for sale, copyright right on the front. And then the back of the shirt, right here, has Luffy dunking in the Lakers outfit, which I think is really nice. I also like the fact that the image is on the back of it, because then you can actually layer this with other stuff. It's just got like the little pocket. But it is a genuinely really, really cool shirt. And they gave this to everybody that was at the game. Yeah, very cool. But that's not all. They also gave us this. Let me grab this. And I'm actually even hesitant to unravel this. I don't really want to mess it up. I want to find a frame before I unravel it. But they gave us this really cool One Piece Lakers poster. Actually, you know what? I will unravel it because I'm probably going to get a frame today. I got to go get a frame for... Well, literally, we were talking about this. I talked to James yesterday on the phone. Literally, this cool One Piece Kishishi board. What's it called? Is it Kishishi? Kishishi is a laugh in One Piece. It's definitely not a Kishishi. But whatever, the cool little board that he made in honor of the 3-year thumbnail anniversary, I want to get a gold frame for that and fit that in there. So I'm going to get a little frame for this as well. But check this out. Shikishi, thank you. All right, hold on. Where are my scissors? Over here? Here we go. Check this out. So yeah, we're going to open this poster up and check this out. And again, this was gifted to all of us at the game. So everyone got a poster when you left, and everyone had the shirts draped on the back of their seats. Here we go. Check this out. How cool is that artwork, man? With all the different characters drawn in Oda's style. You got Jinbei up there running defense. You got Robin and Nami and Zoro and Sanji. Really, really cool. And then it says the name of the game on the bottom. See, 2/28/2025 Game Night Collab. One Piece Lakers. I just love all the different designs. I love Robin and Nami specifically in the Lakers outfits. But I think the other really good looking one is actually Jinbei. Jinbei looks like he would be an amazing basketball player. Got Usopp back there shooting as well. Really just an overall really cool collab. I had a great time at the event. And again, seeing so many other cool people and seeing so many other One Piece fans, seeing so many subscribers, getting to see a bunch of my friends. Unfortunately, Bryant, no, the shirts are not for sale. So I've already saw people like going up on eBay and trying to sell them. Like in fact, let's look real quick. Pull this up over here. What are these things going for on eBay already? eBay, One Piece Lakers shirts. Dude, look at this. New listing, $250, $179, right there for the Lakers shirts. Someone did a reproduction in their 35. Look at that. Someone literally made a reproduction shirt for $35 that they're selling. The posters are going for $84. Look at this, 24 watchers, $195 poster and shirt. And there's a lot of them. I'm surprised by the amount of people that are selling their shirts, honestly. But I guess people were like, look, if you attended the Lakers game and you don't really like One Piece, there'd be no reason for you to keep the shirt if you know someone's going to be able to buy it. Now, for me, I'm a One Piece fan. Not only am I going to wear the shirt, I'm going to frame the poster and everything. But again, it's for people who maybe attended the game that didn't really like One Piece. But again, there's a lot of them. So you can see. Also, Naman said, what is the member message or Nakama message? Naman, there's the room in the Discord server, the Manga Sunday room. The Nakama messages are all the people that are at the Nakama tier and up that instead of having a super chat to get their messages read, they just can leave their little messages up in the room. Yeah. It's cool that they showed up for the Lakers game and then had no idea what the anime stuff was. Exactly. So I'm sure that's what the majority of these things are being sold for. But again, you can see this one's a reproduction. Also, I'm wondering if some of these are even real, because you can see there's nothing in the collar. And in the collar for the real ones, it has that little copyright thing. So I don't know. We'll see. But either way, the game was awesome. I had a great time. Overall, it was just a super fun event. I would love to see another type of collab like that to some other sports game. Maybe do like One Piece and the Chicago Bulls at some point. I'd be thrilled to see that. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I feel like we pretty much covered everything for the chapter. This was a nice tight 60. You know, not too many theories to go over for this one. Obviously, there will be another chapter this upcoming Sunday. There will be more to talk about. And in addition to that, this whole upcoming week, I'm mostly going to be streaming Monster Hunter. So if you like Monster Hunter, you've been playing Monster Hunter, you want to see me play Monster Hunter with other people, I'm doing a collab stream with Marco Meatball tomorrow in the afternoon. I'm going to be on Commonwealth Realm talking about Switch 2 tomorrow as well. I'm going to be on Tetraslicious' 24-hour Monster Hunter stream. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be playing with Wisdom Eel at some point. I'm going to be playing with some other Club Mammoth members. I'm going to be playing with Henry, my buddy who's a voice actor. So we're going to have a lot of really cool gaming-related stuff coming up this week. And hopefully, before the end of the week, I have up my video all about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Some of you guys probably already know this. We did a watch-through of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood over on Twitch over the course of the past week. That is now done. I have a lot of thoughts on the series overall. And so I think that video will probably be out on like Thursday or Friday of this week. It's really just dependent on how much I can get done. I have to do my taxes later this week, and I've got a lot of little errands that I got to run this week, and a lot of Monster Hunter. But I do think you could probably hold me to it that it'll be up before the end of the week. I don't think it'll be early in the week, but it'll be up before the end of the week for sure. So, also we got one more donation at the end of this from Creedy saying, not sure if it's going to happen up until now, but there's been some defeating stuff going on whenever a chapter tends to end with 42 in it. Really? Characters always die or get defeated when a chapter ends with 42? Really? I did not know that. I didn't know that was even a thing. I'll have to go back and look into that. That's cool. Do you have any examples of that? Also, were there One Piece Lakers cards for sale? There weren't. There weren't, actually. I think they might be doing like a card collab or something at the at One Piece Day that's happening in like a week and a half or something, but they weren't on sale at the actual event. Because I looked. Shofu and I walked everywhere to see if there was other exclusive merch stuff, but they didn't have any One Piece merch at the event. It was literally just the shirts they gave us and then the posters at the end. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you once again, everybody. Appreciate you all being here. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Nakama! All right, take care, everybody.